This is Chelsea Sexton here, and you're with Plug-in America here at the Alt Car Expo today. Tell us, well, I think our readers know about Plug-in America. It's an organization that's encouraging the development and people to use plug-in cars, plug-in hybrids. What has the response been here today with the people coming by your booth?
Oh, it's been fantastic, because everyone sort of knows us for Who Killed the Electric Car and the Plug-in Hybrid book and that sort of thing that our various members have produced. So people are really excited to see us back. They sort of know us as the centralized advocacy organization and a central clearinghouse of information. So they kind of see what we're up to. We have an event coming up on Monday with Toyota. They're involved in a lawsuit against the state of California we'd like them not to be a part of. Sort of counteracts that whole notion of them building better cars and that kind of thing. So we're promoting that, as well as just teaching people what's possible and getting them to ask for it, and talking about all the different electric cars and plug-in hybrids and different things that are here today, so that people can make choices of what will work for them.
Now, the action on Monday, is that like an action against Toyota, or is that a joint press conference or something, or is it a more confrontational thing?
It's a protest.
Okay.
It's your standard basic protest. It's actually in conjunction with a couple of other organizations. It's really being led by Rainforest Action Network. And ultimately, there are some laws that have been passed in California to try to generate cleaner cars, and the various automakers have gotten together through the Alliance of Automobile Manufacturers, and they're suing the state to try to get rid of this law. It's a little bit, for us, of a deja vu moment to the California mandate several years ago. So, particularly since Toyota stands up and says, hey, we're the greenest car company, we build the best, cleanest, greenest cars, it's a little bit counterintuitive for them to be a part of a lawsuit that's trying to relieve them of having to build better cars. So we're asking them not to. We've asked a number of times, and they refuse to leave the lawsuit, and so there are a number of people that feel compelled to show up and take some public action and make sure that people are really aware of this.
And it seems like Toyota's taken it a little bit on the chin these last few weeks. Terry Hill, their support for that bill versus the better cafe standards. So do you feel that also from the public, like not just that you're trying to tell the public, let's take a look at Toyota, but that people are realizing, wait a minute, what's going on here?
I think Toyota has definitely had a tough year. I mean, they started in January in Detroit, not by showing clean and green cars, but having their biggest announcements be the Toyota Tundra and their entry into NASCAR. It was very counterintuitive to what Toyota is known for, and I think ever since then, the public has started to realize, hey, wait a minute, you know, you're known for building green cars and you're building big trucks instead. And then this week, J.D. Power announced that the Toyota cars are no longer as reliable as everybody assumed they were, and they used to sort of give this blanket rubber stamp of goodness to Toyota, and that's not happening either. So I think Toyota's really had a tough time. But what's important is that they start to be much more responsive to the customers that they got and that hopefully they want to keep. Even Detroit's learning you have to build cars people want to buy if you want to retain your market share. They've been losing it to Toyota, but that might shift.
So we're seeing not just the future of what's possible with cars, but also possibly a future shift in what people are expecting from the company itself.
Very much so.
Not just that GM builds the Hummer,
right,
but that the Volt becomes just as emblematic, or for some people even more so.
Right. Well, what we're seeing is a shift from the traditional automotive industry model, which is we're going to build what we want and convince you that you want it, and as long as you continue to buy what we're making, we're not going to make anything else. And the companies that want to succeed are learning we're going to have to turn that around a little bit and be responsive to consumer demand. And the Volt is really the first concrete example of that, of a car program that has been done in direct response to grassroots effort to consumer demand. And we've had a number of employees tell us that the car wouldn't have existed otherwise. And so it's a great first step, and we're excited about it. We want to see it actually happen, but we want to see the leadership continue. We want to see this action out of other companies to give people more choices so that they can choose what works best for them.
What are some of the other concepts that you've seen? I'm sure you're fairly aware with cars like the G4E, Subaru's latest plug-in concept. You have some of the really crazy ones that were just announced for the Tokyo Motor Show. They'll never get built.
Yeah.
We're talking, you know, a little R2-D2 head thing on the PHEV 2 and things like that.
Right.
But as far as what do those cars excite you? Know, what in those cars excites you, or the the Plug-in America group in general, as possible future cars that you would like to push these companies to build?
Right. Well, I think just the fact that every company just about has announced these cars is the most exciting. This is no longer sort of something that we're trying to get a little bit of momentum on. All the car companies are coming back. Now, of the technologies that have been shown, I think that the serial plug-in hybrid will be really exciting. One vehicle that has 40 or 50 miles of all-electric range, and then an onboard generator kind of gives people that best of both worlds idea, especially for a lot of people who've never tried electric drive. It gives them the opportunity to do it, but they still have an insurance policy to boot. And then we're seeing a few that haven't quite been announced yet, but car companies that are talking about pure electric vehicles again, which we obviously find really exciting. But there's a trend that's away from the perfect car, and a lot of companies are realizing that we don't have to have a 300-mile electric vehicle that does absolutely everything. There's really a market for plug-in hybrids and 100-mile electric cars that are maybe only $25,000 that people can actually afford, can get into, can drive, will offset a lot of petroleum without having to be the one car that works for everything. You know, alternative fuels are the only fuels that are actually being held accountable for. It's not the car for everybody. We hear it all the time. Electric vehicles aren't the cars for everybody. There's no gas car on the road today that's the car for everybody. So it is really about putting as many things out there as possible and letting people have that choice. But for car companies or policymakers to decide universally what people want is pretty arrogant.